Women and Girls, which is part of the IAU Outreach Global Project, Women and Girls in Astronomy. Please feel free to share with us where are you from in the chat, ask your questions, engage with us, because there will be a draw for prizes to those who will. Let me first start this interview with introducing myself. My name is Myriam Alqassab. I'm the founder of Bahrain Stargazers Astronomy Club and president of the Bahrain Stargazers Club. I've joined the IAU family in 2020 as National Outreach Coordinator for Bahrain. Also, I'm the IAU Active Associate for Commission C2, Communicating Astronomy with the Public. And I am a member of the American Associate for the Variable Stars, also a delegate and advocate at the International Dark Sky Association. Today, I am pleasure to be here live with Silvia Torres-Peimbert, is an astronomer, a professor at the Institute of Astronomy of the National Autonomous University of Mexico. Her area of research is in stellar matter, particularly the determination of chemical abundance of HII region and planetary nebula. From 2000 to 2006, she was the vice president of the International Astronomical Union and president from 2015 to 2018. She received many awards, including the L'Oreal UNESCO Prize for Women in Science for the Latin America and the World Academy of Science Medal. Hello, Silvia.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me to join you here. I'm very happy to be here with you.
We're happy to have you with us. How about we start our interview with you sharing with us what made you like astronomy, how your journey started, and where are you now in the astronomy field?
I must confess that I started rather late. I live in Mexico City, and although I grew up a long time ago, I'm 81 years old now, and the city was not as well illuminated. However, there was not great interest in the sky in my family, and I did not get interested in it. But only when I went to college at the university, I realized that astrophysics was exciting, that it was really a very exciting topic. And then I got all started up on astronomy, on every aspect of astronomy. So I became very much in love with it, and since then I've remained that way. So it's been so as I say, I started late, but nevertheless I have a great passion for it now.
And now it is an exciting journey.
Yes, it is. Yes. And you wanted to ask me. You asked me another thing. What was it?
Yes, Silvia, men dominates the field of astronomy and space exploration as well around the world. What factors do you think that contributed to this? And could it be that women are facing discrimination in this field?
Well, I'm convinced that there are great difficulties for women to become astronomers or scientists altogether. I think most of the difficulties start from the family onwards. The family themselves, father and mother, do not expect the woman to become a scientist, and least of all, a science in technical or engineering or mathematics activities, because there's the overall way of thinking that, after all, women are not supposed to do that activity, to perform that activity, and that they will not perform it successfully. I think that's all wrong. I think we have to turn it around. It's not correct, that way of thinking, but it persists. It persists in the family. And moreover, it continues at school. At school, the school teachers are always very concerned that, well, not concerned, they assume that girls are not knowledgeable in math or in other science activities, and therefore are not paying attention to them and are discouraging them from pursuing that activity. I think that's very delicate, that's very important, that we have to change that attitude. And as in a general rule throughout society, the general population are not expecting that the woman would be a scientist. So I think there are many difficulties to overcome. Well, the science does require a lot of effort, a lot of work, as many other activities. It's not only science, but many other professional activities do require work and devotion and concentration. But besides, so you have to have all that and then overcome the difficulties from the family, the lack of enthusiasm from the people surrounding you. So it requires special effort. Now, every time, I think these attitudes are changing gradually, much too slowly for my taste. There have been significant changes in my country, but I think we still have a long way to go. So, well, my point is that I think my basic point is that I'm convinced that women are men and men are as capable of performing the scientific activities and any other activity, and that we should not be limited by the gender difference. If we want to do some activity, we should pursue it and follow it and prepare for it. And I think that's what my main message is that, and of course, that we as women have to continue to follow our dreams. And that, of course, astronomy is a wonderful science. There are so many exciting things, so many challenges. And every day there are new results that are really mind-opening. Now we are all very excited about the James Webb telescope, that is a space telescope that is doing wonderful things. Just a couple of days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, we could see that the 18 mirrors were able to see the same star, that they are not yet in aligned. They have to work very hard to align each one of the mirrors, but there are images for the stars, and that's better, I think, than expected. And they are expecting that in a few months they will be able to have the telescope ready. But it does take a lot of effort to have it in perfect shape. And I think that women and men have participated in this activity as engineers, as scientists, as all sorts of all the pieces that have to be put together have been taken care of by men and women, and I think that's wonderful. So I'm very excited about these times. During my lifetime, I have seen many changes in the good sense that there's more participation and more recognition to the work of women.
It is true that now these days countries are changing, and there are so many women are involving in the astronomy field and space exploration. But as you mentioned that astronomy requires a lot of effort, do you think also the motherhood affects women somehow in deciding to take astronomy as a career?
Definitely, yes. I mean, definitely, motherhood is a very engaging activity. It's very demanding. It requires a lot of effort as well, continuous effort, 24 hours a day. So yes, of course, having children is very complicated for astronomers and for any other heavy activity. I mean, whenever somebody wants to really become involved in an activity, then to have children becomes very complicated. I have two children, a boy and a girl, well, a man and a woman now, of course, and it was very complicated while they were growing up, how to juggle, how to organize my life between my house and my office, and it's very complicated. It's complicated, and so I think one of the recommendations I give to women is that they have to make sure that their partners, their husbands, understand their passion, that understand and respect their passion. Otherwise, they will have just even more difficulties than otherwise. If the husband does not cooperate, does not collaborate to help you with the everyday domestic activities, then it becomes very difficult. It becomes even more difficult. So do make sure that you select very well your husband. That's one thing.
Yes, it is very important to choose wisely the partner who will support you in this field. Now we are promoting women and girls in astronomy, and we're trying our best to show the world all of the women in this field. But why is it important? Why do you think it's important for the future to have women and girls in this field? And how can enthusiasts and amateurs get involved, especially those who reside in countries where astronomy is not an applicable position or profession?
Well, there are two questions there. For women to participate in astronomy, I think it is very important. We need more brains in astronomy. We need more people thinking about it. And of course, if we only rely on men, we're losing 50% of the mind power. So we need the women to collaborate and participate in this activity. So in that sense, we welcome women, because we welcome each new participation. And if we leave the participation of women, we're missing 50% of talent, brain, creativity, and inspiration. So we require it. Now, you were asking about
how could enthusiasts and amateurs get involved?
Yes, I think it's very important. Well, I think it's very exciting. I think for me, astronomy and stars and the knowledge of space is very exciting. And I think now there are more and more opportunities for more people to participate as amateurs, and to contribute to science, not only to their own enjoyment, which is great. I think it's absolutely very important. That's the driving force, the enjoyment, the excitement of looking at the stars, looking at the sky. But I think now it becomes more available. There are many more instruments, telescopes of moderate size and small, medium, large size that are available. And I think that's great. And there are more databases that are available as well. So there's a lot of work that citizen science can perform, that amateurs can perform and help with the general knowledge, increase of knowledge, with the general, not only enjoying it, but also participating in research in another way, if they are able, if they have the time, if they can invest it. And I think that we, of course, we welcome that contribution very much.
I agree with you that their astronomers and enthusiasts should participate in science in no matter what, because we don't know when the opportunity will show up and when the opportunity actually will knock on the doors. But here, for example, in my situation, in our country, Bahrain, we don't have astronomy as a career. I cannot pursue it as a career. If I want to do so, I have to leave the country to work in another country where they provide astronomy, or I can become a professional astronomers. We do have astronomy. We educate students about astronomy, but we don't have it as a option. In this case, do you think there are areas in astronomy or even space exploration welcome those who are interested, even if they are not professionals?
Oh, definitely, yes. There are several activities that can be, that is what is being called now citizen science, that a normal everyday citizen can help and assist in constructing science. And that is now, as far as astronomy is concerned, for example, there's the databases from the Kepler Observatory, or the Kepler telescope that was able to search for, that was searching for double stars, pardon me, for exoplanets. And several exoplanets have been found by citizens that are not professional astronomers, just by working very hard on the database. And so in that sense, there are several databases now, very extensive. They are publicly, you can visit them publicly, and from them you can derive new results. And so that I think it's a very exciting new way of performing. By the way, most of the astronomers nowadays are studying physics. They study physics. I don't know if in your country they have physics in the university, and maybe you might want to study physics. And then
yes, this is what basically do. They study physics, but still, if you want to become a professional in this field, you don't have much opportunities. You are limited to become a professor at the university, where you are required to have a higher education and all. I would like also to ask you, or if you could share with us, what is the advices that you would like to give the girls who are interested in this field?
Well, I'm very well convinced that, of course, physics is the basis of our knowledge that we have now of the universe. And so we have to learn a lot of physics in order to better understand the situation. And for that, we also need to work on mathematics. So my recommendation is for students to really try to improve their mathematics and physics knowledge, and to really, if they enjoy it, to pursue that activity as well, because that is what, after all, our understanding of the universe is that we are applying the physics that we know to the bodies outside in the cosmos. So we really need to have a good basis on physics and math. So my recommendation is to do a lot of that. And of course, enjoy the view of the sky and all the changes that happen periodically in the sky. I think that's wonderful. Anyway, I hear that you are part of the American Association for Variable Stars, and what are you working on that topic?
Yes, I am interested in the variable stars, and I observe at home, actually.
No, I know, but what I'm trying to say is that variable stars, a lot of work on variable stars is being performed by people that are not professional astronomers. And yes, I think that's very important, because we need to learn more about variable stars, and they can certainly help us to get a better understanding on that. So that's
true. The association, actually, they provide a lot of training and a lot of workshops and seminars for those who are interested.
Yes, that's the point, that the association provides a way to introduces you into the topic, because it starts with very simple workshops or very simple activities, and from then on you can grow to more and more sophisticated ones, complicated ones. So is that your experience as well, Myriam?
Yes. Actually, I'm learning from them, and the programs that they put for us, even from the IAU and even from my colleagues, coordinators. It's true that I am involving myself in coordinating and outreach, but at the same time, I'm educating my community and educating myself, because I had this story where I wanted to pursue astronomy as a career, but I couldn't because of the situation that I've lived in, my personal life. I couldn't do that. But later on, I started to look for the future, and I wanted to not waste any more time. So I decided to open or to found Bahrain Stargazers as a start, to get our community involved in astronomy. And from then, now we are here, and I'm coordinating more seminars, workshops to the public, because I'm sure that we have in our community that person who will become a professional astronomer, whether here in Bahrain or outside Bahrain. It doesn't matter, as long as we are helping the world and helping astronomy science.
I think that's wonderful. That's a wonderful attitude. I think it's a wonderful activity that you're performing. I think to be part of this community is important, because it gives us a sense of belonging, and then of, okay, I'm connected again.
We are back.
We're
Yes.
back. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm not sure what happened with that, but well, it's part of the problem now, or the solution. So congratulations on your activity and this club, or I don't recall the name exactly.
Astronomy Club and the coordinator of the IAU.
And yes, and being a NOC of the IAU.
NOC, National Outreach Coordinator.
Now,
Sylvia, I'm sure you made a lot of memories in your in this field. Could you please share with us what is the best memory you can recall?
Well, I think there are many exciting things. For example, it used now many people are not going to the observatories because there's a lot of remote observing going on. But going to the observatory has always been, in the past, it was a lot of stress and very difficult, because we had to do it by being stuck on the telescope that is moving, and it's dark, and you're never sure where you're standing on, and it becomes complicated, as you all know. And it was very stressing. Later, it became, for professional astronomers, a lot of the observations are carried out in a different room with computers, because the telescope is for the telescope that are attached to cameras, to digital cameras that are sending the signal to another room. And that is certainly more comfortable, more human, more human friendly. Otherwise, it becomes very, very complicated and dangerous. But still, it's exciting. So one of the things that is very exciting is to get to the observatory and just look at the stars and forget about what you're working, and just admire the sky. I think it's beautiful, for at least for a few moments. And then you go inside and you have to get to work and make sure that the instrument is working, that everything is online, that there's no problem with the transmission, with the, well, whatever, all the activities that you have to perform. And also now, a lot of the activities are taking even more time, because you have to prepare even before it's dark, and you quit the telescope after it's become bright. So things are changing. It's easier in one way, but it's more demanding in another way. So things are changing now. And now the telescopes are doing their observations remotely. So the observatory does the observators not go to the observatory many times, like for example, for the Hubble Space Telescope, you didn't even learn exactly when was your observation, but you have to give every single detail very well in advance, every single one. So it's things are changing. I've been a witness to many of the changes in how to carry out astronomy, but nevertheless, to look at the sky in a dark place is absolutely outstanding. It's just great. Or even looking from the window of the telescope at the time when the sun was about to rise, we could see the ocean that was shining already. And oh, there are so many beautiful sights that are exciting and inspiring, and you want to learn all about it. Also, and of course, as a professional, every time you observe a new object, every time you get a new result, it really is exciting. And to prepare, you have to prepare a paper to send it to the journal, and when it gets accepted, it's a great excitement, because many times it becomes either rejected or it requires major modifications, or sometimes it becomes very simple and say, okay, it's fine, publish it as it is. So that is always a great stress to trying to have your work published, but that's part of the job. And I think each time one paper gets published, it's very exciting.
I think that excitement is it never dies, because even here in our club, every time an amateur or beginner look through that telescope and they can only see the planets, because here Bahrain, it's very polluted. We are struggling with high pollution, light pollution. But still we go out and we observe the night skies. And when they look through the telescope and they look at Saturn or Jupiter or even the moon, they go like, wow, you know, they get excited.
Every time I see the moon, I get excited about it. And
yes, until now.
Just to see many of the details and the lights and dark areas, I think it's great. For me, it's exciting.
It is actually exciting. Thank you, Silvia. Now, how about we go to the questions from our audience and see what we have?
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is from Nick Spencer. On Facebook, she says, which are your favorite objects in the sky and why?
Well, my favorite object in the sky is the Orion Nebula, because it's a beautiful nebula, and I've worked on it and I found interesting results on it. So that's one of my favorites. And another favorite, I work on planetary nebulae. And so several of the planetary nebula are really, really exciting. And that, for example, 709 or it's a very exciting object, or all the planetary nebula are exciting. Each one has a different figure, and each one has a different result on it. So they're my favorites, the planetary nebula, and I continue working on them. Now
I think it's really difficult to pick as an object, because, as you said, all of them are beautiful, all of them are amazing to look at, the bright one, the faint one. So it is really hard to pick a favorite one. We have another question. Now our question is from Georgita. I hope I spelled her name correct. From Facebook as well. She's asking, how can a high school student be part of a group of girls and women astronomers around the world?
Well, I think now the Office for Astronomy Outreach has organized that for each country there is a person, a particular individual that can help you get involved in these activities. And so you have to figure out who is the NOC is the National Organizing Contact, or what's exactly the C stand for?
National Outreach Coordinator in her country.
Now, National Outreach Coordinator, and then that person can help you get started in this activity.
Yes. Also, the IAU Outreach Office has the website. You can just go to the IAU website and choose the OAO, where there is a map of all the activities. You can contact the nearest country to you, or even there are many online activities, just like the one we are conducting today.
Yes, there are many. Yes.
The third question is from Saiko Hayashi on YouTube. How can we encourage the young women to become the first or the few of the first stargazers or professional astronomers, or whatever they want to be in their country? We have to start somewhere.
Well, as I say, I think you have to start with those around you, that surround you, your family, your co-workers, or at school, and you can just invite them to join these activities and see if they are interested. They may not be interested, and sometimes they feel that they are not capable of performing or carrying out these activities, but it's a matter of encouragement from the surrounding people. So you can encourage your friends to become to see the sky and become stargazers.
Okay, we have another question as well from Nanina, and I'm really sorry in advance if I pronounce the names wrong. From Nanina on YouTube. Do you find that being in the economical South interferes with access to facilities and publishing? I'm not sure if I quite get her.
Yes, well, indeed it does. I think a lot of the science, a lot of the groundbreaking science is being carried out with the help of the large instruments, the large telescopes, and that, of course, requires a lot of money. In our country, there's not much enough. We are supported at the university and then other activities but the support is quite limited. Although it's a great effort for them, we have to understand that it's very limited now in the scope of what's happening worldwide. So yes, for economically, for the lower income countries, there are difficulties in performing in research that is the most exciting research. We can do research, we do research, we work very hard, but it's difficult to become, to do the most groundbreaking one. And even the large countries, what they have done is to get organized within countries, other countries. For example, the European countries have collected their resources and put together to set up the large instruments, mostly in the south, in Chile, but other countries have done something similar. We have a good site in Mexico, but our telescope is not the most modern one, doesn't have the most modern instrumentation, and so we find that we are certainly with some difficulties, but we try to overcome those difficulties by working harder, and we sometimes manage. And yes, it is expensive to publish, yes. Everything becomes very expensive and more difficult for people that have not enough money for that.
Sure. There's another question also. When it comes to the motherhood, are there institutional changes that will help women grow professionally?
Yes, I think more and more the husband are participating in the domestic activities, taking care of children, helping them, minding their growth, their childcare. And I learned something that we have to understand. It's not that that they are helping. They should not, the attitude should not be that the man is helping the woman, the husband is helping the wife. It should that the responsibility should be shared among them. So it's not just that somebody has the main responsibility and the other one is helping. Rather, they should share as much as possible equally in the upbringing of the children. So that you have to work that in your own family.
Oh, I have a question now for you. You've shared with us earlier that now countries are changing, women are involving a lot in this field. Nowadays, these days, how is the collaboration between men and women in this field?
Much better, much better. Yes, I think there's been a lot of advancement in that, and now I think there's been a lot in advancement in many topics, as far as making sure that the community knows that women can contribute significantly, and that they have good brains and talent and ideas, and that's important. It's not just that they are assistants or they are supposed to bring the coffee and take the notes, but they can contribute in the same fashion. I think that is being more and more accepted. But of course, there are difficulties at all levels, not only in getting into the activity itself, but how do your colleagues feel about it? How do they treat you if there is sexual harassment or any other type of harassment in the job and that sort of thing? And that is now the issue that is being focused on. There's a lot of focus on how are the attitudes and the way the men are treating women and the job. Of course, the family starts, everything starts in the family. I'm convinced of that. And I think there's more sensitivity about it now. And of course, we hear about horrible places of work, very toxic places, that's the way they're called. But it's important that we hear about them because it's a way of noting or making sure that we are aware of them, and that will possibly help us change the situation. Now, for example, in Mexico, with the pandemic, and we have been at home, and many classes have been delivered by Zoom or by internet. We are aware that even some of the teachers discriminate women, and now people are very sensitive about it. They have become sensitive, and that's very important. It's not that now they are more discriminating. No, is that now we are aware of that, and we are fighting it and trying to overcome it. And so it's getting there. It's little by little. I think we're improving. Yes, our conditions are improving.
And I guess this kind of project, Women and Girls in Astronomy, Women in STEM, and all of these celebration around the world, actually helping to educate people about it. And I think also not only in Mexico, Brazil, or Europe, even here in our region, we do face some kind of difficulties in all the fields, not only astronomy, as you mentioned, but also I believe this kind of celebrations and these kind of activities are educating the men, and they are becoming also supportive. Here in Bahrain, I think Bahrain Stargazers is just a stargazing club, but still it's receiving a lot of support from men before women, actually, which is, I see it great. And I hope in the future this will continue, and we'll see a rise in the rate of women in astronomy, STEM, science, and all different on all other fields.
Definitely, all the fields. I mean, we need that to change attitudes. We need to teach them around to people that surround us, and ourselves. We have to do that as well, because sometimes part of the problem has been from the women themselves. So things have to change, and are changing, but slowly, more so slowly. We have to make it
slowly,
but surely. Hopefully.
Thank you, Silvia, so much for being with us today. And it was a pleasure to have you and to talk to you and to have this conversation, to share what's going on with the world, what's going on with women in astronomy. And I hope we will have another conversation in the future with you, with the IAU as well. And I would like to also thank the OAO office for all of these wonderful activities they are conducting. Thank you again, Silvia.
Thank you, Myriam, and I think it's been wonderful meeting you and learning about the Stargazers Club, and lots of luck. How many people are there in the club now?
Now, actually, it's up and down. Sometimes the final number now, I would say 70 members. But when we started the club, we reached 200 members, because some of them were like curious. They wanted to know what is it all about. And at the beginning, we faced some difficulties because I couldn't tell how to manage this club. It was totally new for me to do that. But now it's getting better, and we are open to the public, not only for the members. All of our activities are free. We do it for the sake of astronomy and for the sake of education. And once the pandemic goes away, we wish we'll go back to more activities and in-person activities.
Okay. Well, the connection is becoming very unstable, and I want to thank you for having me here and to wish you lots of luck with your club. And thank you, Susanna.
Thank you again.
Assistance. Thank you. Bye.